Good evening and welcome to the J Duke Show, streaming live on 4 channels worldwide this evening. Thank you for watching on Facebook at the EquiVault page, the J Duke page, Jumping Instructors Network page, or on the YouTube channel with J Duke. I'd like to thank my producers, Laura Kelland-May and Randy Thompson from the Jumping Instructors Network for making the magic happen each and every Monday evening. Jumping Instructors Network is now the go-to place to watch live video with your favorite trainers, coaches, judges, course designers, whoever you want to see. We have fantastic shows now Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Check out Jumping Instructors Network. Tonight is very special guests. Hope Hobday Glenn and Avery Glenn are joining us from Northern California. Hope is a USEF Large R judge. She is a top 10 money earner in the USHA Derby Finals. She's been second in the International Derby Finals, and now she is focusing on sales and clinics and spending time with her daughter at the horse shows. Avery is the youngest rider in the top 10, who is the youngest rider in the top 10 USEF. She won the top Taylor Harris finals at Capital Challenge, and she's won 6 medal finals in California. So if it's an equitation class, Avery's won it, basically. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having us on.
So this is like our family show. I want to talk a lot about family dynamics this evening and what that's like for the two of you working together. But let's start with the history. I mean, I know myself, I come from a family history. My dad's a pro rodeo Hall of Fame cowboy. My mother's trained 6 Olympians. I just grew up on the back of a horse, and it was a natural thing to go into horses. Let's start with you, Hope. How did you get started with the horses?
Well, I can't say I have any Olympians or professional cowboys in my history, that's for sure. But my mom was the local, she rode Western growing up, and she loved horses. And the way that she could immerse me into horses is she taught 4-H and the local group of kids in our neighborhood how to ride. And I was very blessed that as a kid, I had my horses at home. I thought, it was funny, only until I got to the rated circuit did I realize that some kids may have thought that was, oh, poor me. I had my horses in my backyard and had to take care of them all by myself. But for me, it was my greatest blessing and made me for sure the horseman that I am today. So I grew up in Roseville, which is near Sacramento. My parents are still married, and my dad, despite the fact that my mom and I love horses, think it might be a DNA flaw in the two of us on why we spend so much time doing it. But I grew up with riding Western English Welsh ponies. I did driving. My mom and I used to pack up the 3-horse bumper pull trailer, pull it behind a motorhome, and go out to the Welsh circuit or maybe the fair circuit to win a belt buckle on the weekend. I did not grow up on the rated circuit. It wasn't until I convinced my mom I really didn't want to do anything with jumping. And then I started working with Patty Ball in Northern California and rode with her during my junior years, and was a working student also for a lot of different barns in the area. And that's really where I got my start. And I will tell you right off the bat, I was not like Avery. I was not a famous junior rider. People did not know my name, but they knew I was a person that I could get on their horse and hopefully make it go better. And I was scrappy and a hard worker. So I got lucky enough to find my way into a successful place in this business. And I'm very fortunate to be where I am today and get to be doing it with my daughter, which you get to do it with your daughter. And it's a real blessing.
It is. So your daughter is, yes, she has already established at the young age of 14, a great name for herself. Avery, how did you get started? When did you first start riding?
When my mom was pregnant with me, she was still riding for probably too long.
Yeah.
But I've been riding pretty much forever. I got my first pony when I was about 5. My great-grandma got me a small pony who I still have at my barn that I still ride every week, although I am definitely too tall for him. But yeah, I have been extremely lucky with the amount of horses and trainers I've been able to work with growing up. And it's just such a dream come true to be able to do all this, and with my mom and my dad, of course.
Right. Yeah. Well, good for you. And what is your dream with riding? I know, growing up, for all of us here, growing up in Alberta, our dream was to ride at Spruce Meadows and go in the big ring and do that. The only thing I thought about at your age was riding in the Olympics. And unfortunately, due to a disastrous injury to my horse, we were unable to go to the Olympics in '96. But every single day, that was the only thing I thought about as a rider. I was like, every time I got on, 10 horse a day is like, that was the goal. What would you like to do in your career as a rider?
Well, I'm starting to get more into jumpers myself, which I'm really excited about, and I would really like to ride in college. I'm looking forward to that. And some of my goals include like competing in derby funnels, whether that's in my junior years or if I decide to go professional or an amateur. And I would really like to do just the big jumpers. And I mean, the Olympics would be amazing. I'm pretty sure that's not one of my realistic goals, but that's definitely up there as something that I would love to do.
How did the two of you go about goal setting? Do you make a plan at the beginning of the year as far as the horse shows you're going to? You have to, obviously being involved with the equitation in that you have qualifiers and things you need to hit. So how do you go about setting goals?
I'll laugh because there's Avery's goal list, which is I want to do everything on the planet with as many horses as possible. So that's always where we start our goal list. I want to do derby finals, I want to do medal finals, and can I do young riders? And I'd also like to do EAP, and can, of course. And then we usually, what we do is we take priorities because of course we're working on a budget, right? She has two parents that are trainers. So although we have opportunities that may not present themselves to kids who aren't trainers. For example, I get more sales horses sent to me, which gives her more catch riding. But we also have to budget. Going back east for finals is extremely expensive, no matter how you do it. So we may say, okay, we're going to send one horse to the east. She's been very lucky to receive some scholarships. She got the Lindsay Maxwell scholarship. She also won the Shelby Drazen scholarship the year before that helped offset some of the traveling and expenses being back east. So we look towards what would be an ideal and realistic goal. So this year it's trying, if there are medal finals, to try to get back east for medal finals. And then the next thing is, okay, can we, while we're back there, maybe pick up a catch ride in the junior hunters for WCHR? And can we also maybe do another horse? I call out my friends and say, do you have any sales horses that Avery can ride while she's back there? And I think Avery's really been able to see the opportunity, and I may not be able to necessarily buy her the winner, but I can provide a lot of opportunities for her to be a better equestrian and a better horseman and learn on a lot of different horses. And right. I think that's so wonderful for her riding career in general, because the one thing I keep trying to reiterate in her life is on her path to wherever she wants to go, whether it's just be a college rider or ride as a professional or ride as an amateur, at the end of the day, people rarely remember who won the year before at a big final. Ride well, learn good skills, make good connections, and work hard, and that will really be the best thing to get you where you need to go, because it's not necessarily what class you win. It's just getting all the skills to be able to ride so many different types of horses in different classes and different rings.
That's very well said, and that's excellent advice.
You can ask Avery about her goals, how she plans them. I come up like December the year before, and I basically find every show I possibly could do in like a line and then write them all down on a document. And I try to show my parents and be like, I want to do this and this and this, but they want to talk about stuff that isn't about horses sometimes, which budget, really sometimes money isn't what I want to talk about. So
But we work together on goals, and we realize that we can't do everything, but we do the best that we can. And when, 1 year a jumper may present itself, and that may be the year that we get to do young riders, and another year it might be, a green horse, and another year it might be junior hunter finals or a great medal horse. So we follow the opportunities that are presented to us and find the best, and the most positive route to do with that. And in the meantime, we try to do everything else we can, whether that be EAP, whether that's volunteering with a vet, whether it's learn from a shoer. I do really believe that bringing along a well-rounded horseman or horsewoman is the best thing I can do for this business right now.
Yeah. And setting goals, for all the viewers watching tonight, and throughout the week and on the replays. I thank you very much for doing that. Setting goals is so key. I know I would always have an 18-month calendar out in front to plan. Okay, here's the plan for each individual horse for those 18 months. And here's the shows they're going to go to. Here's the training time. Here's the downtime. Of course, these are tentative plans. Things happen. But, you always want to be looking ahead. I know last fall, we actually started making plans for my daughter to attend Young Riders in 2021. So, looking 2 years ahead to see, because that's obviously such a big goal to reach.
I think when we're talking about goals too, as a parent,
I was just going to be like, there's different goals of you have to make sure your goals are like qualifying and getting to the medal finals, not winning the medal finals, because that's not something you can control all the time. You really should just go and be like, I want to have a confident ride and have fun, instead of like, oh my gosh, I need to be in the top 10. I need to place. I need to win. And then it just gets like, it kind of loses the fun out of things when you're so focused on results other than just being there with your horse and friends.
That's a fantastic comment, Avery. That's
she's heard that a lot. It's hard not to go for the win. I mean, like, she hears this a lot from me as a parent, but it's another thing. Really remember, if you're watching as a parent or as a coach, these kids do not have control over the judges. They do not have control over the weather elements. We're dealing with animals. If you set goals based on, I need to qualify to go to the Maclay finals. Of course you want to qualify to go to the Maclay finals, but wonder if that night, like last year in our Maclay regionals, the one jump took out half the class. You can't control everything. So your goals, when you set them, I would like to be able to qualify for these medal finals, but I'd like to be able to ride well in regionals. Find goals that you can accomplish with the other elements, the judging, other people not being a part of the decision. So like, I really make Avery try to work on, when she sets goals, not be like, well, I want to win this final, because she could ride the tail off of a horse and that judge doesn't see it the way somebody else does. Oh, well, ride well, make your goals about riding, about attending a show, qualifying for something. I can't reiterate that enough for parents to not be at home and push, like, just, I want to be champion or I want to win. And of course, what kid in this sport, we all want to win. That's a given. So when you talk about goals, make sure it's something that the kids feel like they can attain and have control over their own.
That's so important, of course, in every sport, with every parent and every child. And I know for myself as a rider, I never thought about winning ever. If I ever did, I rode disastrously. My philosophy was always that for to go out and have my best performance that I was capable of and my horse was capable of that day. And if it was, and it was our day, we were going to win. And if it wasn't my best performance, we probably weren't going to win anyway. And it just doesn't really matter who was in the class. So that's a very mature, good way to look at it.
Are two ladies who like to win and go for it, but we're also people who are very good sportsmen. And the one bit of advice that I think has given me the most success in my career is the fact that I am not afraid of failing. We all mess up. We all make mistakes. Mm-hmm. It's the people who can think ahead of themselves. You think when you're in the arena and you have a mistake at the first fence and that's in your head, the rest of the round isn't going to go well. But yet how many classes, especially in the hunter ring, have been won still with a little bit of a poor first jump? It happens. Let it go and move on. I think one thing that makes us good competitors is the fact that we have learned it's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to want to do better, but you have to be okay failing. It's a learning process. And if you can take that and think of it positively, that you learned something or you got something out of that, then I promise you your career will be better.
Absolutely.
I can't reiterate that enough. Don't be afraid to fail in this sport. It's the only way you learn. Avery,
what's it like to take lessons from your parents? What's it like to take criticism? You go in there and you make a silly error. Of course, it happens 100 times a day. What's it like for you? Do you prefer having because I know sometimes you get coaching from other professionals as well. Do you prefer that, or how does that work for you?
I do train with my parents almost always at home and the other trainers at our barns, but at shows, I'm now riding more with Alvenstar, with Javi, Jim, Lexi, all of their great trainers. I think my parents are really good about sometimes pushing me to train with other people, because then I just feel it's just a different feeling when you get to ride with a person that's not your parent all the time. So I think my parents do an amazing job, but sometimes it's nice to be trained by other people.
And in that same aspect, as a parent who is a trainer, it's really easy I don't want to be the one that's always telling her what to do. Sometimes I just want to clap and give her some water when she comes out of the ring, and good job, because as anyone, whether you're a trainer or a parent in this business, or if you're both, it hurts in the gut when these kids make a mistake, or they feel like they haven't done their best, or they had a mistake and they're sad about it. It's hard on you as a parent, and sometimes you just want to be like, I love you. I'm sorry that happened today. Let your coach talk to you about how to fix it next time. And sometimes I just want to be the mom that gives her the hug at the end of the round if it didn't go as well, or clap and cheer for her and not have that responsibility, because I actually think, especially at a certain age with your kid, even though you might be the best coach, hearing it from somebody else, I think is really healthy, and I think it keeps your relationship much better from a parent.
So as I want to do a follow up with that, so you're watching, you're not the coach today, you're watching, and there's something, something happens, an error happens. Does that come up at dinner? Does it come up at home, or do you just put on the mom hat and leave it at that? Or how do you? Because again, this is such a big issue. So many parents, coaching their kids from the sidelines and from kind of at home and almost undermining coaches at times. Obviously, you're not undermining your coaches. I get that.
We were just talking about this because we see it, not only because we're pretty open as far as coaching, but we're also open as far as seeing when Avery has friends that we're like, oh my God, can you believe the parent is doing that to them? So actually, Avery can give you a little bit of feedback, because we were just talking about, she's like, I think we need to coach parents better on this program. And I was like, hey, you talk, go girl.
Let's do it, Avery. Give us your thoughts, please.
Me in particular, I like talking about my rounds at the end of the day. I think my parents are very good about not over-coaching me when I have a different coach, but I do see a lot of the times particular coaches are harder on their students than others. And like sometimes if a kid makes a mistake in a round and then comes out really disappointed with themselves, and their trainer are like, okay, like they tell them how to fix it, and then they come out and like, it's almost like they need their parent to be like, it's okay, like you, like good job, you'll get them next time, and not like be like, I've heard the classic, like we're spending so much money on you to be here, like if you don't get better, like it's not worth it. And then it just like putting that much more pressure on the kid is not going to make them ride better in most cases. It just makes them more nervous, and I don't think it helps overall.
And pretty good advice.
We see a lot, and this is one of the bonuses of the fact that I right now don't have any clients that I worry are going to think I'm talking about them. I see this so often. You see helicopter parents in any sport, but especially in our sport, the biggest thing I can say is I know you want to be there, and I know you want to hear. If you want to hear what the kid's coach has to say, talk to him about it later, but do not be at the back gate with your kid. You let that kid have time with the coach. If you don't trust the coach to talk to your kid correctly, then you should pick a different coach. And that's a whole nother topic. But I do think you will see this all the time. The kid comes out of the ring and they look to the parent with their eyes instead of the coach, because they're so worried they may have disappointed mom or dad. And when that's happening, they can't focus on getting better or learning or positive reflection on that round. They are only thinking, oh my God, she's disappointed in me, or oh, she's going to be mad that I did that, or he did that. I see it all the time. I actually have to tell parents, I actually need you to go sit in the berm and not even close to the back gate, so that when little Susie comes out of the ring, she can hear what I have to say. And in that aspect on coaching, and where I say, if you're worried about what the coach is going to do, you shouldn't be. You're paying a lot of money and your kids are spending a lot of time with their coaches. if they are not the quality human that you want your child or your wife or your husband or your son to be spending a lot of time with, then you need to reevaluate where you are in the barn that you're with. And I can't say this enough. I mean, we talk about safe sport, but I'm talking about good people. I don't expect coaches to tell their kids all the time, "Oh, great job, we're so proud of you." No, I'm a tough coach, but I try to inspire. I try to give kids and adults real ways to reflect. And I'm not even like coaching anybody right now, so I'm not saying this because I just think as a parent to my child, I could go watch, not even my own child, I could just go sit at the back gate and watch 5 different coaches coach different kids. And I could tell you which one would be the right match for my kid. So if you don't know where you want to ride, go watch coaches at the back gate. Go watch them in the warm-up area, deal with good horses, bad horses, good riding kids, bad riding kids, and see how they respond to it. The trainer that brings a kid down and belittles them, compared to the trainer that inspires and gives real concrete ways of fixing things. That's, in my opinion, who you want your child or your wife that's who you want your family around, because these kids spend so much time at this sport and so much time with their coaches. These people are shaping who they are as humans and people. These are your co-parents in a lot of ways because these kids spend so much time. If I could really push something out there, I would say it is so important that you pick a quality coach for the well-being of your child's life in general. A good coach can make for a good human and a better horseman and a better sport. And we're doing this because we're paying this money for our kid to be responsible and have this great sport and work hard, because I also want her to be a better, more responsible human in the long run.
So how, as a parent, so you have John Doe and Jane Doe, and they know nothing about horses. They've had no experience in the horse world whatsoever. Their son or their daughter wants to start riding, and they're 11 years old. How did they go about? How would you advise them to go about finding that right program and right coach? Because to what you're saying there, I think is excellent advice. But how would they go about finding that program that works for them?
Yeah, and I think you're hitting the nail on the head, because we all know there's nothing out there that says if you're a good trainer or a bad trainer. And in the States, it's like who has a fancy setup and who doesn't. That's how a lot of people judge whether or not you're a good trainer, which oftentimes is very not the case.
Yes.
But I think that if you're just getting into this and you don't know the trainers, first of all, I can always tell you, trust your gut. If you think that something feels unsafe to you as a parent, it probably is, even if you don't know horses. I can't tell you how many parents over the years said, little Susie fell off and broke her collarbone. And I don't know anything about horses, but I knew it wasn't safe. Well, you know what? If you're a parent and you trust your gut, even if that trainer is telling you it looks safe, what's the worst thing you do? Take your kid off the pony because your gut's telling you she might die.
Right.
So I'm just telling you, usually your gut is good. Luckily, I have no clients named Little Susie, so don't worry. But, I think those parents need to take their kids. They're learning how to ride. Take them to a couple different places to take lessons.
Mm-hmm.
I usually feel like it becomes very obvious which place is the right niche for you and what place your kid feels safe. And you're usually not owning a horse right when you start. So certain places have much better lesson horses or lesson ponies than others. And then as you start to progress through the shows, you may need to move to a different type of barn at that point.
Of course.
And hopefully you start to see and you start to talk to people and you do a little research, but you can gauge a person and their personality usually well if you spend a couple weekends at a horse show with them and see the type of person they are as well as the type of coach they are. And also, if their riders are falling off left and right in the arena, that may tell you that's not an ideal program. I don't care if you have great horses. If you're a good horseman, you can keep your kids on the majority of the time.
Avery, when you come out of the ring, do you want to hear criticism or praise?
I think it depends. I think it's a little bit of both. like constructive criticism,
Mm-hmm.
basically like we go, I think I like my trainers specifically go over like the round, like step by step. We go in, did we have a good first jump or not? Good first jump. Okay, we came around the turn, good pace. And then like I didn't push my horse out enough, so I got too deep to a jump. And next time you should go out in the turn a couple more strides and that'll fix that. And just like constructive criticism like that, I think that's what helps me the most, instead of being either like, wow, that was a bad jump, or wow, that was perfect. Like it's the in between.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that is key to coaching. And I think that people need to realize is there are lots of coaches like that out there. You don't need to be stuck. If that's what you're looking for, which is what I think is the very best for long-term success, then find those people, because those coaches are out there. There's lots of great coaches that provide constructive criticism. They build up the riders' self-esteem while also encouraging them to become better competitors and better riders at the same time.
Yeah. And
So
one of the people watching us right now, Elise Harper, just commented that she goes up and asks questions to the trainer, like talk to them, look at them face to face, and if you have concerns, ask them a question. And I think always communication is good. I think you can get a lot out of talking to people, for sure.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's for sure. And communication is key. So it's important as a parent to have involvement, but to have the right type of involvement and the right timing for that involvement.
And while we're on this, because we have some trainers watching who have kids maybe in the sport, or maybe we have parents that are watching who are in a barn where they have a trainer whose kids ride. Avery deals and I deal. Luckily, I don't have to deal with this anymore. But in her career, I've dealt a lot with the fact of parents in the barn who are very jealous and negative that Avery gets more catch rides than other kids in the barn. And this is a common theme that we see with trainers who have children. Why does Avery get more extra rides than my kid?
I've never heard that before, ever.
Ever. Yeah, I'm sure with your child, never heard it. And because nobody's going to get mad at me because I don't have any clients right now that would think I'm talking about them. The trainer's kid who is there every day and works from morning to night and is out there in the barn with the horses and is the horseman and usually is probably the scrappiest rider in the barn, does get more opportunity for catch rides. It's just one of those things that happen. But Avery will also ride ponies still. She'll ride horses that stop for a kid, and she's now going to get them over the jump. I think any kid who's in the barn that wants to work extra hard, stay at the barn, is willing to ride the lesson horses on Saturday and Sunday for extra rides. I have yet to find a kid who's willing to give me the work ethic and the effort at the barn that doesn't pick up some extra rides.
Personally, obviously I can always work harder, but I really try to, I'm there every morning at the barn. I feed the horses grain with my mom. I tack up all my own horses usually, and then I put them away. Yeah, blanket them, put them out, give them showers and stuff. And it's just basic things that, a lot of kids don't want to come out and, hack maybe some horses that aren't as fancy and get them all ready, untack all of them,
or at the horse shows, Avery comes in the morning with me and she hacks horses, so she's going to get more rides because she's willing to be there at 6 a.m. to get on a horse, whether it be for me or somebody else. She'll help, and she's very talented on a horse. But even when she was little, she'd get up and ride somebody's walk trot pony if it meant giving herself another opportunity. So kids that are watching that want to be working students, offer to do anything. Offer to hand walk. Offer to get on and cool your trainer's Grand Prix jumper out, or walk it and trot it to loosen it up before they get on. Be out in the ring and set jumps for that. I have never had a kid that was willing to work super hard that didn't provide opportunities for themselves to get more riding.
I'm so glad this message is getting out, because the American junior has a pretty bad rap right now. And so to hear, it's all about, just stand on the mounting block and get on and get off. And, there's no work involved. It's just princesses riding. And I know that's not the case for everyone. Those people do exist, of
Oh yeah,
course.
there's plenty of.
But to see what the two of you are doing, and to me, you're doing it right. This is exactly how my daughter and I are. She's grooming and she's cleaning the stalls and cleaning the tack every day, just like BC Madden's still doing it at her stage. And that's proper horsemanship.
At horse shows, she for sure has help. And at her dad's place, she hacks a lot more horses. Like she'll hack 8 or 9 in a day, and they're groomed and ready for her. But next week, Avery and I are loading up the trailer. In fact, my mom is coming with us, grandma, because she's the greatest help anyway. And the three girls are taking the horses and going to, because we don't have any shows right now in California, we're going to a practice show. And Paso Robles will be the groom, the hauler, that's what we're going to do. But we've got some sale horses, and we don't want it to cost an arm and a leg. And we like being around our animals. So at the end of the day, I love horses. That's why I do this.
Let's discuss the social media, Avery, that you have. You have a big following, and you're active with that, and kudos to you. How do you use that to help your riding? I assume you're not on there just making TikTok videos. How do you, well, maybe some.
I'm not
but how do you use that to help your riding?
And also get ambassadorships.
I think it's one thing to remember is whatever you put on the internet, you can't take down, which I think sometimes people need to remember that, whether it's commenting on a post of someone, or just writing something on your story, or something that's negative, even if you're looking to be an ambassador for companies, they want people that are gonna be really positive and put out good vibes and stuff. And I think it's just really important to be very good and positive on social media. I don't know what's the answer for this.
No, but I think one of the things that we've found really helps promote ourselves when it comes to bringing in sponsors. Avery's an ambassador for a ton of companies. I have a lot of sponsors, especially considering I'm not an Olympian or riding out there. But I'm very good at communicating with those companies. So if they ask me to demo something, or if they ask me a question on feedback, I get back to them. And the other thing is always answer an email. If somebody sends you something, even if it's a company you're not sure you might want to work with, get back to them. Be respectful. Thank them for reaching out to you. Thank them for offering you an ambassadorship. I may not be able to take it at this time, but I look forward to working with you in the future, or I can't do this at this point in time. One thing we need to clarify real quick is juniors can't be sponsored riders. They can be what's called ambassadors, even though it works very similar to what you would consider a sponsor. They actually have to be termed as an ambassador for the company so that it's not considered a professional sponsorship agreement. But I think Avery and I have both found that when you're promoting yourself, one thing that gets us the most followers and the most people is videos. Any sort of video clip, even if it's you at home talking to your horse, a small clip, or maybe it's an edit of you jumping. The more videos you put out there, the more people follow you. And then, Avery's a little slicker than I am, as far as she will sometimes give me a hard time because I'll put something about my sponsors on my home feed for Instagram, or she's like, Mom, that's totally for your story, because you might lose some followers if you put too much out there for your sponsorship. So I think junior riders maybe keep some of their ambassador type things on their story more than their feed. And I tend to put it on both because I just am very appreciative. But Avery gets a lot of ambassadors because she's very good at tagging them in her posts. So you always want to tag them, hashtag whatever the company is. That's how these companies are getting followers, and that's free advertising for them. So if you want to be a good ambassador, you have to do well, but more than doing well in the ring, you have to be able to get their product out on social media. And that seems to be the most important thing right now for companies, is being able to put their product out there, get followers for them, and promote. You've got to be the rider, whether you're a professional or a junior, that gives. They don't want some bratty kid. You got to put yourself out there like you're a successful junior or a successful professional that cares in some way or another. Care about your horse, care about the sport, do something. I feel like that's where you're getting the most sponsorship and ambassadorships right now.
Let's give a shout out to your ambassadorships and sponsors. Who do you want to mention here?
Yeah, so Avery and I both work with Ariat, which has been a huge company. They've been with me for more than 10 years, and I give them a shout out because, I mean, even during the COVID in California, they've given over $1.5 million to local organizations to help with that. So they definitely get a shout out from me because they're not only a great company, but they do a lot for the community and have great clothes. We work with Sam Shield. I am Purina sponsored.
I'm an ambassador for Charles Ancona.
And we both use Equine Omega products, which is a horse supplement. And they came to us and started in English pretty much with us. We both ride in Voltaire saddles, which has been huge.
Stirrups.
Yep, MDC stirrups have been great. We use Echo Gold pads out of Canada. They're great. And Equifit has been a huge supporter for us, and both at home and at the shows. And Avery proudly wears their stuff in the equitation ring. So we have a good list of, you know, Signature Spurs sends us spurs and crops.
Snacks with Avenue sends us
yeah, horse treats. We have really good horse treat sponsors. So we're good at promoting our sponsors, but we're just very Smart Pack we're part of Team Smart Pack. In fact, that the only time I can ever say I miss June. I miss June in the Smart Pack calendar. So that's my claim to fame, I guess, this month. So anyway, we're very lucky to work with the groups that we do, and hopefully we help them promote their products, because that's what we want to do.
Ruspari as well.
Oh yeah, the belts at Ruspari are super cute.
Wow.
We're hoping to get some of the new ones with the rose gold.
So Avery, I'm going to put you on the spot here for my last question of the night, because you're not allowed to say your mother, because she is an incredible rider. So you're not allowed to say that. Tell me the one rider out there that you wish that you could one day ride like, that you emulate the most. The person out there, hunters, jumpers, whoever it is, who's your hero?
No, it's not. Go with your gut.
I think as of right now, definitely some riders I look up to are Kent Farrington, McLean Ward, BZ Madden, all the amazing ones. And I've also just watching interviews of Kent Farrington did an interview at McClay Finals, and hearing how he didn't start from a bunch of money, and how he worked really hard. And in his junior careers, he didn't go to the Big X Finals with the amazing horses the first years. I was wow, that to see how far he's come and how amazing he is now. I just think that's amazing.
That's a great pick.
He can do a lot of push-ups on his knuckles. Have you seen those workout videos? Oh my God, I'm slacking here.
Well, you're gonna want to watch my show next week then, Avery, because my special guest is McLean Ward coming on the show.
And he's got 2 girls now, so watch out, the pony ring.
That's right, you bet. So I'm looking forward to that. Ladies, thank you so much. You're the best guests. Your success is an inspiration to all of us, and I wish you a fantastic finish to 2020. Once we get back out there on the show circuit, we'll be watching Avery in the results column. I want to talk about. Thank you. Jumping Instructors Network upcoming shows on Wednesday at 1 Eastern with Robert Robald, hosted by Laura Kelland-May, and Friday. The special guest is U.S. team rider Nona Garson. So we've got a fantastic lineup. And then, like I said, next Monday, I have McLean Ward coming on the show. That longtime friend. He's a fantastic guy. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks, everyone, and good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
You ladies can stay on. Yeah.